Will the real Vice President please stand up?
It was easy to catch me with your big brown eyes and the way you smile.
Welcome to another edition of Anything Under 3 Stars in the Sun, Lone Wolf Edition. My name is Patrick and this is Pat Talks. Today we'll be talking about sino ba talaga ang ating Vice President. And ang dalawang magkatunggali, Maria Leonor Leni Herona Robredo and Ferdinand Bongbong Romualdez Marcos. Now, officially, as per the last elections, of course, proclaimed by the COMELEC and the official Vice President of the Philippines is si Ma'am Leni, Vice President Leni Robredo, who is the wife of Jesse Robredo. For those of you who know the story, So anyway, so we will not get into the details kung ano yung nangyari in between nung nanalo siya until today. But what happened was, in a nutshell, Bongbong Marcos didn't like the results and he filed a complaint against Leni in the Presidential Electoral Tribunal. Okay? So, there are three things sa pag-uusapan natin. Ano ba ang Presidential Electoral Tribunal? Marcos, that's one. Number two, Marcos raised three causes of action, meaning yung rason ng kanyang pagrereklamo, and yung current rulings and actions. Actually, nakapending pa. We're waiting for yung latest decision regarding yung second cause of action before we go to the third cause of action. Okay? All right. All right. Now, we'll talk about the three causes of action. We'll talk about yung protest ni Marcos regarding 25 provinces and 5 cities involving 39,000 clustered precincts. Okay? Plus briefly yung protest din ni Madam Leni. Okay? We'll explain that why in the conclusion. All right. Ang current rulings and cause of action on the cause of actions. Where did the news of the 15,000 lead of Leni come from? Ano ba yung origins niyan? Consequence, and of course, yung pinanood kong mga interviews niyan and mga articles, two of my favorites, ex-Justice Artemio Panganiban and ex-Justice, Associate Justice Antonio Carpio. They have opinions on how the cases will go. Hindi pa tapos, it's still ongoing, so we'll dwell on opinions, though I'm not an expert on election laws, pero I'd rather look at people who are knowledgeable on the subject, okay? And I've chosen yung expertise and opinions of ex-Chief Justice Panganiban and ex-Associate Justice Antonio Carpio, both retired now, okay? Now, what are excluded? Ang in-exclude ko are yung argument ng lawyers. Okay. Madam Leni, the Vice President Robredo, is represented by Attorney Romulo Macalintal. Okay. His clients included ex-President GMA, ex-VP Noli De Castro, and ex-President Benigno Aquino III. Bigatin yung mga kliyente niya. And Bongbong is represented by Attorney George Erwin Garcia, whose list of clients included Senator Grace Poe, Mayor Joseph Estrada, Sierrap, and Senator Miguel Zubiri. For those of you who know kung ano yung nangyari sa kanila, we'll touch on them a little bit as we go along. Now, what would we expect with this? Kaya hindi ko na sila sinama sa arguments dahil every time I listen to them and their team, pag nasa TV sila or whatever press release they have, syempre, they would only you know, argue their side. Natural. One lawyer would say, mananalo kami. One lawyer would say, tama kami, etc., etc., etc. So, hindi matatapos yun. Natural lang yun, natural. Alam nga namang you're representing your client, at sabi mo, hindi, matatalo na tayo. It will not happen. So, this will be a clash of election titans. You should expect voluminous and convoluted pleadings and arguments, tedious scrutiny of everything and questioning everything, expert legal maneuvering, yan, kung paano sila dumiskarte, okay. And extreme media coverage at syempre yung mga hindi mawawala yung mga patutsada sa isa't isa. Okay. Di ba nga? Sabi ni Renny, ni Bongbong, he was robbed by robbed 3 years of service. Sabi ni Vice President, between you and me, sino bang robber? that was that was hilarious. That was hilarious. That's what you call a classic burn. Okay. Other issues we won't tackle up. We won't tackle kasi tapos na eh. Yung filing fees, madrama pa yan. Yung shading of ballots, okay? Matagal nilang pinag-usapan niya bago nagsimula sila ng counting kasi the settled rule is 25% shading, okay na. Why? Because that's how the machines were calibrated. Okay, they both accepted it, so okay na. Now, let's talk about the Presidential Electoral Tribunal. Ang composition nito is the same as the Supreme Court. Okay? Ang hinahandle ng cases are two. Quo warranto against the President and the Vice President, and election protest, ito yung recount of the results of the President and Vice President elections. Now, yung House of Representatives have the HRET, yun naman yung sa mga House of Representatives, tapos sa Senate is yung Senate Electoral Tribunal. Okay? Now, ano bang kuwaran to? If, for those of you na nasubaybayan yung kay Sereno, to make the long story short, does Lenny have the legal right to hold office? Okay? Remember yung kay ex-CJ Sereno na which launched the celebrity status of Attorney Gadon? Ayun. Okay. Yun yung tanong doon sa kuwaran to. To which hindi naman yun ang tanong ngayon. Ang tanong ngayon ay electoral protest lang yung recount. Okay. Meron din sinasabi, and if whether or not it matters, kung sino ba yung ponente, narinig natin yung kung ano ba yung ponente, does it matter? Ponente is a member of the Supreme Court who writes decision of the majority in its deliberation. If he or she doesn't agree with the majority decision, he can write his own dissenting opinion. Okay? Hello, babe. Come. My crew is keeping me company while we do this. Come. Up. Okay, there we go. Come. Okay. Doon sa mga nagre-request. Appearance daw from Salem. Ay, camera shy pa. May mga ang nire-request niya yung pusa, hindi ako eh. So anyway, yung si Salem, dyan lang siya. Tambayan niya kasi yung table sa likod eh. So anyway, okay. Later on, we'll find out that Justice Antonio, now ex-Justice, dahil that time, Justice pa siya, Antonio Carpio and Justice Alfredo Benjamin Cadgiwa dissented in their opinion, in the majority decision regarding Rule 65, and we'll discuss that later. Today, Justice Cadgiwa is replaced by Associate Justice Mario Victor Marvic F. Leonen. Or, may nickname siya, yung ano pa tawag dito? Justice of Love yata dahil nagbibigay siya ng mga love advice sa kanyang mga tweet. Okay, tweet. Tanga. Tweet. Because I'm a tweet. Anyway, why the sudden change? Well, everything's been speculative, and we'll not get into the controversy of that. But uh, from the decisions I've been reading about Justice Mario Victor Leonen, si Justice Leonen, okay naman, wala namang problema. Okay? Now, we'll talk about yung first cause of action. Pag sinabi mong cause of action, yung reason mo, in short, yung reason mo kung ba't ka nagre-reklamo, yun ang cause of action. Marcos cited three. We'll talk about the first. Yung first cause of action is the automated election system was compromised or flawed, therefore its integrity cannot be relied on. Okay. So kinwestiyon niya yung buong integrity ng yung mga PICOs, etc., etc., etc. Now this was turned down by the Supreme Court. It was dismissed. Kasi ultimately pag binasa mo yung first cause of action, ganun din ang papatakan ng second cause of action, tsaka third cause of action. Okay? Kasi we're talking about electronic votes. Okay? All of it. So, and besides, mas magulo yun. Pag tinanggal mo yung automated election system, pati yung sila Duterte, lahat ng nangyari nung eleksyon, wala. Ganun yun eh. Okay. So, to speed up the case, dinismiss yan, because pag-uusapan din naman yan kung totoo nga kung na-compromise yung integrity ng automated election system sa second and third causes of action. Okay. So therefore, this is meaningless and pointless. Even if Marcos proves the first of action, it will not mean that he won it. He won the elections. Okay. It would lead to the nullification of the entire election process na mas magulo. After some objections, the Marcos camp accepted the decision and moved on to the second cause of action. Now, second cause of action. The manual recount of actual ballots to determine the vote cast in all 36,465 protested clustered precincts. Okay? Ang in charge dito was Justice Alfredo Benjamin Caguiwa. Okay? Siya ang in charge at ponente yata. Hindi. In charge na gumawa ng report dito sa matter. Okay? Now, dito papasok yung Rule 65. Ano ba yung Rule 65? Na lagi binabanggit yan. Simply put, Rule 65 is under the Presidential Electoral Tribunal rules. Under the initial determination of grounds for protest. Okay? It states that the tribunal may order the protestant to pick up at most, three pilot provinces in test provinces to show na kung may papakita niya kung saan siya nadaya. Yung pinaka examples niya kung saan siya sa palagay niya ng protestant nadaya. Pipili siya ng 3. Ang napili nga ng camp ni Marcos was Iloilo, Negros Oriental, and Camarines Sur with 5,415 precincts. Okay? Tapos doon na nasisimulan yung recount. Okay. So, natapos yung recount. The manual recount of the actual ballot to determine the vote cast in all 36,000 precincts, clustered precincts, ngayon, under Rules 65, pagkatapos ng kunyari magbilangan at wala kang napatunayang substantial gain, kunyari, sabihin natin, dati, either natalo ka ng 10, natalo ka, tapos lumamang ka ng 10 sa after recount, di, meron ng dayaan, di ba? Ngayon, kung hindi mapapatunayan na may gain ka, substantial gain, wala. Okay. Madidismiss na yung kaso. Okay. Yung second cause of action. Now, pag na-dismiss yung second cause of action and first cause of action, does it mean dismiss na yung entire protest? Hindi pa rin kasi may third cause of action pa. Okay, and we'll discuss that in a while. On September 2019, Justice Benjamin Kagiwa submitted his report. The Presidential Electoral Tribunal and bank, meaning lahat sila voting, and bank, yun ang ibig sabihin, unbank. Okay. Voted 11 to 2 to release the report to the parties only for comments in the form of memorandums. Okay. Ngayon, ito hindi pa dapat lang nilalabas yung report. Okay? Now, the tribunal also required the parties not to discuss the matter in public. Okay? Sa kanila lang. Pag magsabit sila ng memorandum, tapos, you know, magro-rule yung tag dito yung tribunal. Okay. Now, isa pang hiningi sa kanila also yung kanilang comments on the causes of action for the annulment of the elections, election results for Vice President in the provinces of Lanao del Sur, Basilan, and Maguindanao, which is part of the electoral, the third cause of action. Now, they were given 20 days to do this. Okay. So, saan nanggaling yung 15,000 lead? Di ba narinig natin biglang, lamang naman pala si Lenny, dapat ma-dismiss na. Okay. This pronouncement initially was from the camp of VP Lenny through Attorney Makilintal. He claimed in an interview that this was from their own count. May sarili daw silang counting. Sige, this is not an official statement by the PET yet. Okay. When the report was made public, nagkatotoo nga. Galing nagkatotoo. Yung 15,000 lead. Lumamang pa rin ng 15,000 lead. Doon na rin lumabas na si Justice Kagiwa at Carpio dissented and favored dismissing the second cause of action applying Rule 65. Ngayon, syempre, galit sila Marcos na tamang hinala na yung mga pronouncement nila Lenny masyadong halata, masyadong alam na parang may leak, ganyan. And of course, yung kabila, sabi ko nga sa inyo ayoko nang marami pa sinasabi yung mga abogado. Syempre, di-deny nung kabila, di ba? Otherwise, mako-contempt sila at matatalo yung kaso. Na yung data nila was solely from their own records. Alright, galing Ang galing So, anyway. Alright. So, dun sa dissenting opinion ni Justice Carpio and Justice Kagiwa, sabi nila dapat i-dismiss na yung kaso kasi wala namang substantial gain, lumamang nga Now, you could look at it from 2 points of view. A 2,000 lead, kasi ganito, halimbawa, from the official count ng COMELEC, ikaw panalo na, lamang ka na ng say 10 votes. 10 votes. Okay, panalo ka na. Nag-recount. Okay, katulad nga ng protest. Lumamang ka pa ng 20 plus more votes. Now, there are two ways of looking at it. The 10 plus votes proves that you really won, and the 20 plus votes proves that there was cheating or the elections was flawed. Ganun din yung sinasabi nila sa 15,000 lead. The 15,000 lead, sabi nila Makalintal, this proves VP Lenny actually won. Okay. But the other view is, syempre, pag tinignan mo yung bakit nadagdagan ng 15,000 pa, dapat hindi masyado magbabago. Meron siguro hindi ganun kalaki. Okay? So, that proves yung 15,000 from the other side, sabi nila Attorney Garcia, na the elections was flawed. Okay. Now, according to ex-Chief Justice Artemio Panganiban in an interview with Karen Davila, If the second cause of action is meritorious, the other provinces would be recounted. 27 provinces and cities and one congressional district. Okay, 39,000 precincts. Okay, now here's how I see it. Kung 3 provinces ang pinag-uusapan, inabot na ng 7 months. 22 provinces would approximately be 49 months or 4 years excluding the cities. Five yung cities eh. 4 years ka nga abutin. So, doon pa lang ang problema na yun. Now, the third cause of action, okay? Total annulment of the election results for the VP position in the provinces of Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, and Basilan on the ground of terrorism, intimidation, harassment of voters, as well as pre-shading of ballots in all of the 2,756 protested clustered precincts in the areas. Okay. Laging may problema yung lugar na yan eh. Yung Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, and Basilan. Now, there should have been a report from COMELEC na merong ang ganon. But apparently wala eh. Everything was the official result eh. So, you know, we're not there yet. So, di ba remember, pinag-submit sila ng memorandum. So, also including mag-comment na rin sila sa third cause of action kasi based on that, they could formulate on how or decide on how the PET will go about it. Bakit ganun? We'll discuss that in a few. Bakit ganun parang gulong-gulo tayo dyan sa nangyayari ngayon sa issue ni Bongbong tsaka ni Lenny. Alright. A couple of questions na raised, no? Sabi nila Makalintal, dahil kung sakasakaling walang substantial gain from the 3 provinces na sila Marcos ang pumili, dapat i-dismiss na yung cases. Okay? Hindi naman pwedeng dagdagan ng 3 pa because the rules are specific. Sabi, 3 lang. So, the argument is, hindi na pwedeng isama yung Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, and Basilan because those are, you know, kumbaga, ang sabi ng rules, 3 lang. Ngayon, ang sabi naman sa kabila, yung Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, and Basilan is part of a third cause of action, not the second. Excluded siya, completely independent. Meron pang araw silang 8,000 people na witnesses na may terrorism, intimidation, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Kaya isipin mo kung gaano ka-voluminous yun, ganun karami. Alright. So, issues, what are the issues? Ngayon, here's the thing. According to ex-Justice Panganiban, there has been no precedent. First time nangyari to. Okay? Does the Presidential Electoral Tribunal have jurisdiction over the third cause of action? Kasi di ba remember, ang cases lang under PET would be quo warranto and recount. Okay? Does the PET have the power to declare failure of election? That is largely unknown. That's largely unknown. Under the law, only the COMELEC can declare failure of elections. Tapos, pag na-declare yung failure of elections, does it mean panalo na siya? Hindi pa rin. Panalo na si Bongbong? Hindi pa rin. Kasi ang claim ng camp ni Bongbong, pag na-eliminate yung 3 Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, and Basilan, lalamang sila kay VP Lenny, so panalo sila. Not necessarily because hindi pwede ma-disenfranchise naman yung mga tao ron. So what will happen is, supposedly, magkakaroon ng re-election dun sa lugar lang na yun. Okay? And before that even happens, the Presidential Electoral Tribunal must create rules in order for this to proceed. Walang rules because there has been no precedent. Regardless if it's the Congress or the Supreme Court or the PET itself make the rules of this, kailangan pag-aralan yan. Hindi pwedeng basta Hindi pwedeng basta, ito na rules, hindi pwedeng ganun. Kasi depende sa situation yan eh. Okay? So that's why both parties must submit their memorandum. Now, here's the thing. Bakit nagkakaganyan? Because, syempre, we wanted to afford both parties due process. Ganun talaga. Hindi mo pwedeng, sige, lamang na si VP Lenny. Panalo na dapat. O, dapat dismiss, hindi. You have to listen to the other side first. Kasi baka naman may explanation pa siya kung bakit ganun. Okay? Now, the courts can decide based on that. Hindi basta-basta dinidismiss yun. Ganun ang mga kaso. If the failure of election was proven, uh, according to the Omnibus Election Code, kailangan nga ng re-election para parang hindi na mabawali-wala yung mga boto ng mga tao. Pero again, 'di ba? Nung nagkaroon ng election niya nung time ni Duterte, yun nga, doon sa nanalo si Duterte, wala namang report na ganun kalala ang ang nangyari doon sa tatlong provinces na yun. So anyway, according to Justice Carpio in an interview with Head Start, if I'm not mistaken, si Pinky Webb. Okay. The case should be dismissed already kasi ang point niya is, kunyari magsasabit ng memorandum parehong parties. You expect na yung memorandum ni Bongbong would only favor him and memorandum ni VP Lenny will only favor her. So what's the point of self-serving lang in favor of either party? So bakit ka pa nagpasubmit ng memorandum? Dapat i-dismiss na. Now, regarding failure of elections, in a case decided, ipopost ko na lang dito, the PET can actually annul. Yun ang kanyang opinion. Even long after the elections were held, but the court would have to look into every precinct of the affected areas. Okay. The rule is, if 50% plus one of the votes are illegal, then all the votes are voided. Kung hindi naman, bibilangin pa rin kung ano yung valid votes. Now, they both agree that no special elections can be held because the PET doesn't have the power to declare that, only the COMELEC can. So again, that's another gray area. Hindi natin alam kung anong gagawin doon sa situation na yun. Now, just to conclude, why is it taking so long? Okay? According to several opinions, it's the fault ng mga parties themselves. Minsan. Okay? Kasi remember, di ba, tumagal pa yan yung ngayon 25% na kailang back and forth pa sila ng mga pleadings yan before mag-decidean yung shading ng 25% o less. So lumabas na 25%. Mahabang balikan yon. Tapos sabay ito pang yung bayaran nga ng filing fee. 'Di ba? May nag-installment pa, pareho na silang full payment for as far as I know. Tapos ang tawag dito, yung dami, yung volume ng kanilang mga pleadings, of course you have to look into every single page plus voluminous evidences to support their claims. Now, when they say this was uncharted territory, back in 1992, there was ang nahandle ng PET was Miriam versus FBR, si Ramos. It was dismissed because she ran for a Senate seat in 1995, to which she won, di ba, si Miriam. It rendered, kumbaga, parang lumabas na lack of interest and it became moot kasi magiging senador ka na. In 2004, FPJ versus GMA naman. It was dismissed because namatay si The King. Alright. Now, in 2004, also yung kay Legarda and Noli, dismissed because Rule 65, nung binilang, hindi na bago yung resulta, umiksakto. And then she ran for the Senate in 2007, so the same with Miriam, hindi na rin natuloy yung susunod. In 10, Rojas versus Binay, dismissed because after Binay's term ended in 2016, the case was never resolved. So in other words, naging moot in academic. Uh, Another thing is, of course, um, in observance of due process, sa dami ng legal issues na binabato and maneuvering, and both sides should be heard, ayan, tumatagal tayo. And why would it even take longer? Longer. If this proceeds, okay, rules must be made to cover the third cause of action, and this will take more time, according to ex-Justice CJ Panganiban. The COMELEC may have to justify the results considering it's their official results. So sasagot din malamang ang COMELEC nito. Also, it may even take longer dahil nag-file din si VP Lenny ng kanyang election protest. Okay. She's contesting 8,000 clustered precincts. Now, it's a legal move na tipong parang ganito. Kung sabihin na nating natalos si Lenny sa second cause of action or sa third cause of action, uupo na ba si Bongbong? Hindi pa rin pwede dahil kailangan pa rin i-resolve yung kay Lenny, and that yung protest ni Lenny, and that will take time. Okay. What is really happening? Okay? Win, lose, or draw, BP will run the clock, meaning uubusin niya lang yung oras because we have only 3 years, less than 3 years to go before the next elections. And it will become moot and academic, katulad dun nangyari kay Rojas tsaka kay Binay. Okay? They will run the clock, ang tawag dun. Parang yung last 2 minutes uubusin yung last 10 seconds ng isang game, uubusin yung oras sa foul, sa mga technicalities. Hindi foul na tipong Diana, yung ibibigay niya yung foul para lang mag-free throw, yung ganon. 'Di ba? Alam niyo naman sa basketball. Okay. Win, lose, or draw, Bongbong Marcos, it's free publicity. Na mukha siyang underdog na kinakawawa siya. Regardless, good or bad publicity is still publicity. Okay? Lagi niyang ipapalabas na kawawa naman siya. Ganon. Inaapi yung kanyang pamilya, inaapi siya, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Regardless of how you feel about him, that's how he projects himself. At meron tayong mga kababayan na kagat doon. This becomes a battle of narratives. Ang narrative is the way of storytelling that can shape a fact or impact the understanding of reality. Yung bang mga patutsada, parang ganito. Kay Lenny, ang kanyang narrative ay, ako ang Vice President, nanalo ako ng malinis. Okay? Ang narrative ni Bongbong, dinaya ako ng mga dilawan. Yan. Okay. Ang narrative ni Lenny, inaapi ako ng administrasyon because Duterte favors Bongbong. Okay? Si Bongbong naman, hindi ako makapagsilbi sa inyo yung mga ganong narrative. Yun ang narrative. Siguro yung Tagalog, the nearest I could probably think of is political patutsada. Alright. Patutsada sa isa't isa. Okay. So, okay. Who's winning in my opinion? Okay? Well, number one, who's losing muna? Losing is the Filipino people. Dahil, we're dragging this thing along until matapos. Okay? Who's winning? In my view, it's Bongbong Marcos. Even if VP Lenny wins the protest, okay? Clearly, free publicity was already given to Bongbong in its early campaigning in the guise of being api and biktima at dinaya. I think you'll always use that. Okay? and the VP Lenny will always be tainted. The stigma of cheating in the elections, whether or not she did, whether or not she won the protest, she will always be tainted that way. Okay. Personally, I side with ex-Justice Antonio Carpio, Justice Alfredo Benjamin Caguiwa in their dissenting opinion, as well as ex-CJ Artemio Panganiban. I also believe in the due process of law should be followed, which what the Supreme Court is doing right now. Now, there's a new Supreme Court justice, pinalitan ni now Supreme Court Justice Diosdado Peralta, si Supreme Court Justice ex-Supreme Court Justice retired, no, Lucas Bersamin, professor ko yun dati. And Justice Caguiwa was, as mentioned earlier, replaced by Justice Leonen as ponente. Anything can happen. Merong mga nagbibigay ng conspiracy theories dyan na whether minamanipula yung Supreme Court. I don't believe that. Okay? I believe the Supreme Court yung integrity ng Supreme Court is intact. That's why they're being careful about this, yung kanilang mga pronouncement. Sinabi na rin ni ex-CJ Bersamin yan na they're being very, very careful para hindi mapulaan ng publiko. I don't know what that means, pero I believe they're trying to preserve their integrity. How the justices decide in past cases and the fact that majority have been appointed by President Duterte, I believe are inconsequential. Okay? Regardless kung pinayagan ba ng justice na to yung pagkakalibing ni Marcos o hindi, blah blah blah, whether inappoint ba sila ni Duterte is inconsequential. Kaya huwag kayo masyado maniniwala sa mga chismis dyan, yung mga meme about kung ano yung mga dinicide na itong mga taong to. Okay? I believe in the integrity of the Supreme Court regardless of how this goes. In the end, I couldn't really care less if either Bongbong or Lenny wins, because I believe they're both just the product of the establishment. And both have done nothing to me or both have done nothing to me, good or bad, whatsoever. Kung sino man ang VP, doesn't matter because wala silang effect sa buhay ko. Okay. When I say the establishment, it is a dominant group of elite that holds power or authority in a nation or an organization. Okay? I'll leave it there. My name is Patrick again. This is Pat Talks Lone Wolf edition of Anything Under 3 Stars in the Sun, brought to you by Pinoy Matters TV, episode 12. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I will always respond to you.
It was easy to catch me with your big brown eyes and the way you smile.